What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boys. We back. King and I Life podcast, hosted by myself, Toucha the Poet, and my man.
Son of Soul Lex.
And as always, you can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, inbox, text message, phone call. And Son of Soul Lex's favorite, as you all know, is...
You guys can hit us up at that KINGANDEYE369 at gmail.com. Again, that is KingandI369 at gmail.com.
Yeah. It's a good day. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about some stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Turn your mic up a little bit, though.
Just
a little bit. Just a little bit.
All right. What you got on? What's good?
That's better.
All right.
Man, so what's good? What's on the minds today?
So they say the verdict is out. The verdict has hit out. The streets.
It has hit the streets. It has hit the airwaves. Guilty all the way through. This is a touchy subject for a lot of people on both ends of the spectrum. Everybody has their feelings towards it. But at the end of the day, I think the vast majority of people look at it as an accomplishment and all that has been going on for decades, centuries, generations. Mm-hmm. So Derek Chauvin was found guilty on second and third degree murder and second degree manslaughter for the senseless murder of George Floyd. Personally, I wasn't expecting, I was expecting guilties, but I wasn't, I must say I wasn't really, I was expecting it, but I wasn't expecting it. I was kind of on the mindset of if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But I hope he's guilty.
Right.
When the guilty verdicts were announced, I was elated. I was happy. Not happy at the situation, but more so happy that his family is getting just a piece of justice. And then, as I was watching MSNBC, because that's my preferred news channel, one of the correspondents, Jason Johnson, who is a professor at Morgan State University here in Baltimore, he kind of alluded to something that me and you, something that you said earlier. And to paraphrase kind of what he said was, yes, this was a guilty plea. Yes, it was this. Yes, it was that. But that's all it was. It doesn't erase what has been happening, clearly and openly for forever. It doesn't erase the things that have happened in the last 2 weeks or the last year. And it also doesn't, it also pales in comparison to what happened at the Capitol. So when I was listening to a lot of points of view as far as that, I personally felt exactly what they were saying because, still the young man up in Minneapolis who got shot by the white female cop last week, I think it was. Then it was, I think, a 13-year-old child that got shot not too long ago. So, I mean, I don't know. What about you?
My thing about it is this, right? Excuse me. It's a small victory, some would say. I would tend to agree with that simply because his family, like you said, gets a little bit of justice. the justice that they received is still not 100% dead accurate because he could appeal it. Um, and that's his right. But at the same time, um, I just feel like, yes, he does have the potential to go to jail, but that's not going to bring their son back. That's not going to bring their brother back. That's not going to bring their cousin back, on and so forth and so forth. So they may um, file a civil suit. They'll get paid in that, I'm sure. But again, this thing keeps on happening year after year after year, and it's coming to a place where you're seeing like one for each month, damn near. So it's kind of like, yes, this was a small victory, but we're really not getting anywhere until we change the damn laws. And that's been my whole thing from the start: is these police officers, these crooked police officers, to be, polit- politically correct, are getting away with murder, like cold-blooded murder. But at the end of the day, um, our country is making small changes, and when I say small changes, like defunding the police and certain situations like that, and making them liable, civilly, civilly liable, in cases like this. That's that's some progress. But in the bigger scheme of things, they have to go further. They have to do more. Just don't give me the bare minimum and say, well, we did something. No, you got to do a hell of a lot more than what you're claiming or trying to do now. And people can say, well, it's something. True, it is something. But look how goddamn long we had to wait to get this little something. Again, I feel like it's a drop in the ocean, like a raindrop in the ocean compared to how many people uh, of darker hue have lost their lives over some BS.
I get you. I can't. There's no way I can dispute that. Especially, that we come from the same background and we see these things at the same, from the same perspective. But get the bigger picture here. It's a problem because we see this disproportionately happening to us. What we see, um, we don't actually take into account, nor do we, us, care to
Mm-hmm.
research how much this happens to other people. Um, and I'm talking people who don't look like us,
Right.
um, because it's more of them, and more of them because of the different, the different dynamics as far as numbers. It happens to them a lot more. We don't see it. We don't care about it. We don't take it as seriously because they're not us. Um, we look at it specifically how it affects us because how it's affected us for so long.
Right.
Um, we also look at it like that because it's like, well, damn, can you leave us the hell alone? Um, Rightfully so. We have our own gripes about the legal system, period. And we have to take that and say, all right, this is our gripe with the legal system, period. Um, and this is something that I say, and I have said on several of our episodes, and I stand behind this. We need to be more active in this process. We need to be more active in this system. We need to make our voices heard. We need to put up a bigger show of we're not going to take this anymore. We need to be more active in our communities. We need to put forth a front that says we're not going to take this shit anymore. And I say that because, We can have our own stuff. We can, you know, say the hell with all of y'all and do our thing. But at the end of the day, unless you plan on leaving this damn country and going somewhere else where you think or you feel or you have experienced that your life is going to be better off or less, uh there's less of a chance of you being violated like that. You need to be active in this system. You need to be active, well, not this system. You need to be more active in this country. You need to be more active in your communities, because if you're not active in your communities, we won't get these small little accomplishments that are a drop in the ocean, which will turn into a drop in a lake, a drop in a pond, a drop in a puddle. Um, if you look at the legal team that fought for George Floyd, it wasn't just us fighting for George Floyd. It was, you know, he had a, you know, there was a legal team that fought for what they got. Um, as much as we are outraged at police brutality, we need to be equally outraged about black on black crime. Um, I don't take anything from anybody on this planet, especially our people who experience police brutality. But we need to have that same damn energy with black on black crime. Um, Me, my roommate, and my cousin were talking earlier. Um, and the guy who sold George Floyd the drugs, um, supposedly, is a guy that looks like us. This guy, supposedly, when he was called to testify, pleaded the fifth. He pleaded the fifth because he could potentially be charged with murder. So, as much as we are pissed off at the bullshit that these cops are doing, we still have to look inside our own houses, our own communities, our own groups, and say, stop the bullshit. Because the sooner we stop the bullshit that we're doing to each other, we can build better fronts to make them say, you're not going to do this bullshit to us.
I I agree with what you're saying. It does come down to us working together within our own communities to make them better. Um, when it comes down to our local pharmaceuticals companies and individuals, for me, regardless of this guy who sold George Floyd the drugs, right? I don't fault him as much as the ones who were actually there, meaning the other police officers, because they take an oath to protect citizens. They get
Mm-hmm.
paid to protect citizens. They get paid to check their fellow officers. And when they don't, that's when things like this happen. Yes, was he wrong for selling this man these narcotics? Yes. Simply put, yes. But at the end of the day, whether he got it from a person on the street or if he got it from a damn pharmaceutical place, if he's taking something he's not supposed to be taking and getting goddamn high, then it kind of lies with, I'm not putting it on him because addiction is a real fucking thing. Whether people want to admit it or not, addiction is something serious. It's not something you just get rid of overnight. Him being under the influence of drugs, I don't know if he was or wasn't. But if he was, then he kind of left himself vulnerable there to a little bit. because you're not in your right state of mind. So with you not being in your right state of mind, you're not putting yourself in the best position to defend yourself. And I'll just leave it at that. Um, but again, I just think that with the fellow officers, with deliberately muting the mics or unplugging the mics, they were leaving out critical information. Although they did get a conviction on him, I only saw one person. One person. The person who they found legally liable for his death. But I would have took it a step further, man. Your fellow officers had just as much to do with that shit than you did because they let you do it. They let you do it. And instead of them saying, hey, man, you're going too far, they up there trying to stop people from getting close to you. Mind your business. Keep it moving. Get out of here, man.
Their trials are coming up. I know you said you didn't follow it, but their trials are coming up. So they're not off the hook. It'll probably be, I don't know. Well, I heard their trials are coming up in August, and my immediate reaction was like a whole year and a half or more later. All right, whatever. But their trials are coming up, so things have to happen in time. Like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it shouldn't take forever for Rome to be built. I'm not going to sit here and victimize George Floyd because he was under the influence of illicit drugs. I'm not going to hold the person. I'm not going to victimize the person who sold him the drugs, because that's a separate issue that I personally have a problem with. I don't know about anybody muting mics or whatever the hell the case may be. To me, it doesn't matter. It was enough video footage of the whole incident. Him holding his knee on his neck for over 9 minutes, fucking ridiculous. It just doesn't make sense that use of force, rules of engagement, all that bullshit was not followed. And here's a conversation that I've had with several people online, offline, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Okay. These jokers, and I don't know if we talked about it on here, but you have a job where you fear for your life. Got you. Every day you fear for your life. And a lot of responses that they get, when they kill innocent people, specifically minorities, the whole thing was I feared for my life and this, that, and the other. And, there was no other thing that I could do other than shoot this person 2, 3, 4, 50, 60, 70 times, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 officers. Let me tell you, what bothers me about that whole thing is you have officers who've been on the force 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And you have these type of situations. I deployed to Iraq in 04, 05. And those of you don't know, who are not know what this type of rifle is, this fully automatic rifle. It's a M249 squad automatic rifle. Pull a trigger and it just shoots the same bullet as an AR-15, M16, whatever you want to call it. In Iraq, I fear for my life every day. You got cars pulling up to your convoy, pulling up to the back of your Humvee, and you telling them to move back, move back, move back. I'm fearing for my life because I don't know if that car is going to blow up and kill me or my fellow soldiers.
All right.
My finger is on the trigger. This motherfucking gun, this machine gun is hot, ready to go. But I have to think, although that vehicle could be a threat to my life and the 2, 3, 4 other people in this vehicle with me, or the two and three other vehicles that's in front of me or behind me. I have to practice restraint. I'm looking in the windshield of a car who has a man driving, a woman in the passenger seat, and a child or two in the back seat. If I can restrain myself in a situation where I fear my life every fucking day, you can't tell me, that you, as a police officer on the force, has less restraint than I do, first time deployed, or a 19-year-old who's deployed with me. I'm not hearing it. I'm not understanding it. But at the end of the day, a victory is a victory. That's how I feel about that.
I follow you. Man, I never been in any war zone, so I can't speak on that shit. I I'm glad I never was, but I have been in the goddamn ghetto. I will tell you that shit, and sometimes that shit feels like a goddamn war zone within itself. Um, the thing about it is this, right? If you have so much fear um, being in this line of work, get the fuck out of that line
Get
of
out of it.
work.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just get
Exactly.
out of it. There are so many other occupations out there where if you want to stay in security or doing security, there are plenty of jobs out there for you. But if you constantly in a place where you fear for your life with unarmed people, yeah, yeah, you really got a problem, bro. You definitely need to reconsider your occupation. Um, I mean, there are plenty of people in this world who have dangerous jobs,
Mm-hmm.
plenty,
Mm-hmm.
but they go to work, do what they got to do, and they take their ass home, hopefully in the same condition that they went to work in.
Right.
So, not bashing police officers, the good ones. Um, if you chose that occupation, hey, I salute you because I damn sure as hell couldn't do it. I I, I couldn't do it for many of reasons. But if I did choose that line of work, I would have to definitely keep in mind that I chose this. Did nobody make me do it?
Mm-hmm.
Then no one put a gun to my head and said, you have to be a police officer. You better sign up. So it's kind of like anything. You can be fearful. There's nothing wrong with having fear,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but you got to respect that shit. Meaning your occupation. Once you put on that uniform and you step out on them streets, you keep in the back of your mind, I got to be mindful of my surroundings. I got to be
Mm-hmm.
mindful of how I interact with people in the community. Basically, if you can keep that at the forefront of your mind, you'll be all right.
Pretty much.
But taking someone else's life, man, I don't give a damn what color you are. There's no coming back from that shit.
Yeah.
None, because you got to realize when you take someone's life, all the people that situation affects, not only the person that's no longer here, but you as a human being, you have to process the whole situation of I took someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people might can take it and keep running with it, but there are some of us out here, that's a real problem. You just want to come in, do your job, and go home. No one wants to go to work and take someone's life. That's insanity.
Right.
I just feel like again with that line of work, yes, you have to be on point. Yes, you have to be aware of what's going on around you. Yes, you have to be uh, mindful of what's going on with your partners and your fellow officers. But there's way too many examples of innocent people losing their lives, not even armed, running away from you, and you shoot them in the back.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's the biggest damn cowardly move you can do right there. shoot somebody in their back, and they trying to get the hell away from you, and they so in their ego about he was resisting arrest. Okay, so he ran. Your ass got 2 feet too, right? You know how to run, right? If he get away,
Pretty
you
much.
you'll get his ass again. Believe me, it won't be the first time that he's been in this type of predicament. So you'll catch him.
Hmm.
But I'm not finna shoot somebody in their back for my own selfish justification of saying, he resisted arrest. He didn't listen to my orders. This motherfucker is not in the military. You are not his superior. You are not his commanding officer. And
Hmm.
especially given the um, history of some officers when it comes down to melanated people in this country. Come on, man.
Mm.
You can't be surprised when you see a motherfucker running away from you. You can't be.
Um, yeah. As you were saying, and I totally agree with you. Um, most jobs, depending on their nature, have level of fear to them. Um, um, I just to a degree, I can't believe that. No, I refuse to believe that all of these incidents where officers shoot unarmed people, shoot people in the back, choking kids, and having women and children sprawled out on the ground at gunpoint. You're not going to tell me that you feared your life that much.
Mm,
You're just not going to tell me that.
no.
I remember one of the more recent ones. I'm talking about officer shooting somebody in the back. Walter Scott, April 4th, 2015, in Charleston, South Carolina. Um, uh, he got pulled over for a brake light that wasn't working. Um, the officer lied about the situation, but a video came out where Mr. Scott was running from him. The cop was standing still, took aim, shot him in his back. Um, he got charged with murder. Um, it's stuff like that that blows my mind, and it's so many of these incidents where cops are overly aggressive with people. Period. Um, I know that because of our background, we tend to linger on or focus more on what is more important to us as far as who this is happening to. Um,
Right.
but at the end of the day, regardless of the imbalance in treatment when these things occur, and what I mean by that is, you'll see videos everywhere on YouTube, Facebook, on some of these crime TV shows where a Caucasian person is pulled over and they're literally arguing back and forth with the cop. And, the cop doesn't have a gun pulled or whatever the case may be. But,
Mm-mm.
um, the thing about it is it's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous that, you know, as long as you can articulate what you did and it sounds good in court or wherever, then you are more likely to get off. I think that's ridiculous, um, because it's always by the judgment of a reasonably thinking person. Um, there's no way I can reasonably accept some of the nonsense excuses as to why, someone gets killed by the police and they're unarmed, and it's like three, four, five, six police officers. It's like, I don't get it. Um, just like that situation to where the officers put a black plastic bag over the black guy's head, who was, I think he was on some drugs or whatever the case may be. I'm just not understanding the carelessness of people when they do stuff like this.
How, like, really? A plastic bag? What the
Yeah,
hell did you think was gonna happen if you put a plastic bag over someone's head?
yeah,
Like, that's just common sense right there. My
yeah.
oh man. The thing
But
about it is this,
we
right?
gotta take a break though.
All right, I'll get back into it.
Yes, yes, yes. It is the King and I Life podcast, and we're having a candid discussion just about stuff, man. Stuff.
For sure,
Hit
for
us up
sure.
on whatever podcast platform you subscribe to: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Inbox, Patreon, all that good stuff. Um, email kingandi369 at gmail.com, KINGANDEYE369 at gmail.com, and we'll be back.
For sure.
Yeah.